Yo, we clearly have to talk about the reaction that I received for my top 10 list and the fact that Eminem was not on there. Like, yo, I can't even begin to tell you like how frustrated, how mad I was at everybody who negatively reacted to the fact that Eminem was not on the list. And whether y'all want to, agree or disagree with me with him being on the list or not, I really don't care about that. Everything is personal preference. Everything in music is opinion based. Everything that I do, everything that you think, it's all opinion based. Everybody's list is going to be different. So if you feel like Eminem's album and the side B to it should have been on your top 10, that's fine. Fuck it. I understand. So be it. I don't hate you as a person for putting it on the top 10 list. I understand why you did, to be honest. What I was frustrated and what I was upset about with everybody who negatively commented on that video was I for the first time, not for the first time, but for the first time on my channel, I had seen firsthand what the stan mentality is. For those of you that don't know, who might be new here to either my reactions to Music to Be Murdered By side 8 or side B, or however you came about the channel and decided to subscribe, in case you don't know, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of background on my relationship with Eminem's music and his career and everything that I think about him as an artist. Because I swear to God, by some of the reactions that I got from some people on this channel, people that I've seen in multiple videos, people that I know have been subscribed to the channel, for some of the negative reactions I received, it blows my mind that I even have to talk about this right now. So I'm only saying it if you're new here. I have been listening to Eminem and his music for over 20 years. Just straight off the top of the dome, I can lyrically recite every single song all the way up until I think probably Marshall Mathers 2. Like, I basically have the whole catalog, everything before that memorized, tattooed on my brain. I've been digging into his lyrics and trying to understand who he is, where he comes from as an artist and a person, more so than pretty much 95% of the people watching this video right now. So the fact that people are out here saying that I use Eminem's, career, I build my platform on the back of Eminem, just like everybody else does, because I didn't put I didn't even say Music to Be Murdered By was a bad album, side A or side B. It just didn't make my top 10 list. And here I have all these stans coming at me saying that I'm just using Eminem's music and my reactions to his music and how hyped I get are fake. That's just asinine to me. Shit, it's like people forget that Eminem is my GOAT. He is the greatest rapper of all time, commercially, pen-wise, sales-wise, popularity-wise, opening up avenues that rap had never had before-wise. Like, he is literally the GOAT in my eyes. And I have people out here telling me that my reactions are fake. My genuine hypeness for new Eminem music is fake. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. If you were someone who was in that comment section saying that you are going to unsubscribe because Eminem didn't make my top 10 list, then do it right now. Get it over with. I would rather have you unsubscribe than have you sit there as someone who wants to basically hear me be a yes man for everything that Eminem does and put out. Like, that's not my personality. I'm going to keep it real around here. That is what people subscribe to my channel for. So if I didn't even say anything negative about Eminem, I was going to say if I said anything negative, even if he didn't make my top 10 list and you feel like that's unsubscribe worthy, fucking do it. Please. You're doing me and you a favor, because you clearly don't understand the relationship that I have to Eminem's music and more so to overall music in general. So you got mad about him not making my top 10. There's a lot of people that didn't make my top 10 that are arguably eligible for being on that list. I just felt like other people beat him out. MGK, his album was emotional, pop, punk. It was solid. Juice WRLD, R.I.P., obviously another solid album. Eminem, since we're talking about him, another solid album. And the list goes on and on and on. But the reason my top 10 list was the way it was is because of certain criteria that I wanted certain albums and artists to hit in order to make my personal top 10 list. And everybody on my top 10 list fit in one of these three main criterias. The first one being potential for a new artist. Obviously, Brent Faiyaz and Santino Lasaint are brand new artists that a lot of people don't really fuck with a whole lot. They have a fan base, but they're not global on the sense that Eminem or The Weeknd or NF or Mac Miller, anybody that made my top 10 list other than them, they're obviously not as global as the other artists. So they made the list just straight based on the potential that they had had to become a worldwide sensation. Next up was going to be the change of pace for an artist, whether it be Denzel Curry collaborating with Kenny Beats. That was a change of pace for Denzel, especially with the entire conceptualization with a collaborator. And then obviously we had Taylor Swift, who made, like, I forgot what it was, like 4 or 3 on my list, because of the fact that she went to that indie pop sound, which she had never done before. She kept it very safe. She kept it very, very commercial, very commercially successful sound. But during quarantine, she strayed away and did it very well. Next up, again, was going to be conceptualization. Once again, Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats. And obviously, number one at After Hours was a crazy, huge, like, successful concept of an album that The Weeknd had put out. And then Circles, R.I.P. Mac Miller, being the second half of the concept to Swimming in Circles. Like, that's why that had been put out. And then the very last one, number 4, I know I said 3, but number 4 was the reason why Eminem's album did not make my top 10 list. And that's going to be because of the emotion that was evoked out of me compared to the other ones that made the top 10 list. Where Eminem is at in his point in his career, it's not going to move me emotionally, because that's not the person. That's not where he's at. Like, when I'm thinking of rap that moves me emotionally, especially from Eminem, I'm thinking of the entire album Marshall Mathers LP. I'm thinking of the song Rock Bottom. I'm thinking of the song Brain Damage. I'm thinking of the song, like, Haley's song. Like, there's a whole list from earlier in his career that have even the song Headlights from later in his career, the song Beautiful, the song Be Careful What You Wish For. Like, these songs moved me emotionally. But at this point where he's so high, he has nothing else to prove. He's not a little kid anymore. He's kind of found a stride in his happiness. Like, that, he's just not going to make the kind of music that's going to make my top 10 list. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just not going to make that. It's not going to deliver that one criteria, the biggest criteria to make my personal 10 list. What I get from Eminem is going to be hype. What I get from Eminem is going to be fun. Like Godzilla is a fun ass track. Discombobulated is a fun ass track. What I'm going to get from Eminem's music is going to be crazy respect. It's going to be crazy mind blowing with his technical skill, the type of writing that he does, his rhyme patterns, his speed, his delivery switch up, his use of similes and metaphors, and the way that he just plays with the English language better than most people could ever do. But the emotionally moving tracks, aside from Darkness, it just didn't move me in the way that I wanted it for the top 10 list. If I made a list of like top 10, top 20 hype tracks in the year 2020, Eminem would be on there multiple times, I promise. That's just not what I wanted from a top 10 album. So even through all of that reasoning, people still being quick to throw me to the side, people still being quick to like completely say that I'm not a fan of Eminem, that I'm just using him, that I'm using him to build my platform. All of that, everything that I just said from here prior leads me to the next point, which I promise you, for a lot of people out there that are watching this video, it's gonna be hard to hear. And if it's tough to hear, I'm sorry. I know that this video is probably gonna get a couple of thumbs down. It's gonna get some people to unsubscribe. But if you fit this mentality, if you fit what's coming next, this is a hard reality check for you to look into the mirror. So what I gotta say is that for so long, ever since I became an Eminem fan and became obsessed with his music and obsessed with the topics and lyrics and everything that he writes about, and I had always been quick to defend the Eminem fan base for not being stans, for not being toxic, because they're just really passionate about his music in the same way that I was passionate and still am passionate about his music. But that defense came to a complete stop the moment that I started seeing the comments under my top 10 albums of 2020 video, because I saw firsthand the toxicity, and I saw firsthand the reason why Eminem's fan base gets a bad rap of being stans. And the worst part about it is that I know that most people do not have this Eminem can do no wrong, he walks on water, he's a god, I live and die by Eminem music. Most people that are passionate about his music don't have this stan toxic mentality, but it takes one person to ruin the entire experience for everybody. So if you are a stan in the sense that you were throwing shade at me, or the sense that you decided to comment that I'm gonna unsubscribe, like, I am talking directly about you. You are the reason why Eminem's entire fan base gets discounted as stans. You think that you're doing Eminem a favor by being such a diehard and loyal fan, but really you're hurting the mentality and you're hurting the image of Eminem and his fan base by being as toxic as you are. The toxicity that you have to say that you're unsubscribing from my channel, or how dare I not put him in the top 10 list when I'm making money off of the back of Eminem. By the way, definitely not making money on any fucking reaction I do, which is why Patreon exists. But like, just that mentality of I don't agree with you, or I don't like the album in the same way that you do, and it didn't make my top 10 list, so that automatically makes me opposition. That is exactly why people roll their eyes at Eminem, and your mentality as a stan is going to be the reason why people keep Eminem off of their top 10 greatest of all time lists. You're actually hurting Eminem more than you're helping him by having this weird ass mentality. And the reason why I say that the ultimate stan mentality is a weird mentality to have is because the whole term stan originated from Eminem fans. And the reason why it originated from Eminem's fans is because of the song that he has called Stan. And it's like, y'all motherfuckers don't even realize that Eminem was like very hesitant. He was very standoffish about having this relationship with Stan in the song because of the psycho overboard nature that he took things. And yet it's like, you don't even realize that Eminem himself might not even like the mentality that you have about him because of the overboard nature that you take your fandom. The motherfucker wrote a song about it. I hope you realize that the term stan that people call Eminem fans is not coming from a loving place. It's not coming from a place of respect. It's a derogatory term toward Eminem's fan base because they act exactly like he is describing in the song Stan. And in the song Stan, once again, he's not really a fan of that type of mentality. But here you are thinking you're doing him a favor by having that yes man, Eminem can do no wrong, he walks on water type of mentality. Do you not see the fucking disconnect? The motherfucker Marshall literally said, you got some issues, Stan. I think you need some counseling to help your ass from bouncing off the walls when you get down some. And what's the shit you said that we were meant to be together? That type of shit will make me not want us to meet each other. Then he goes on in the song and saying, I'm glad I inspire you, but Stan, why are you so mad? Try to understand that I do want you as a fan. I just don't want you to do some crazy shit like how y'all act. I seen this one shit on the news a couple weeks ago that made me sick. Some dude was drunk and drove a car over a bridge and had his girlfriend in the trunk, and she was pregnant with his kid. And in the car they found a tape and they didn't say who it was to. Come to think about it, his name was It Was You. Do you honestly think that song, that verse in that song came from a place of lovingness for Stan? Or is it more realistic that it came from a sense of panic? Came from a sense of like, damn, I don't want this dude to hurt himself. He's kind of off his rocker a little bit. I should probably be a little standoffish with this type of fan. Because that is definitely the tone of Eminem's verse in that track. And it's like y'all motherfuckers don't even recognize that tone at all. If he had that tone in a fictional song about Stan, what makes you think that he doesn't have that same weird standoffish vibe? I don't get it. I don't get that, how you don't see the disconnect. And the fact that you stand in the way you do and you try to discredit my name and discredit everything that I've ever said about Eminem in the past 60 videos that I've done of him, that's the exact mentality that he is talking about in that song. And that is the mentality that ultimately hurts his fan base and ultimately hurts the image and hurts the reputation that he should have in rap. There would be less people opposed to Eminem being the greatest rapper of all time if his fan base wasn't so fucking toxic at times. And like I said, 95, 96, 97% of the people watching this are not going to fall into that complete stan category, but it's that stan category that came at me in my comments, which prompted me to make this video. As from one stand to another, calm the fuck down. I'm not coming at your personality. I'm not coming at, I like the album. I'm not even coming at the album. I'm not even as critical about the album as I've been for past albums like Revival. But the fact that it didn't make my top 10, automatically you assume that I'm fucking using Eminem's name for my own notoriety. If I've kept it this real on the channel for so long, what makes you think that I'm just like, I'm throwing all that away for a fucking top 10 list? Get the fuck out of here. So yo, if you're someone who's around here because you like my breakdowns, you like my reactions, which are 100% genuine, by the way. If you just like my vibe, if you're someone who doesn't always agree with what I say, but you're still fucking with the channel because you're a normal person who realizes that I might have a different opinion. I had a different upbringing. We're in different places in the world. Everybody's gonna see the same thing differently. So if you are someone who can respect that, and you still fucked with my top 10 list, like, yo, I appreciate you being here. But if you're one of these fucking stans that I'm talking about right here, if you're someone that thinks that people who don't like the album are automatically opposition, and it's not even the fact that I don't like it, it's the fact that I do like the album and people are still criticizing me for it. That's when I realized that stans really do exist. So if you are that person, so if you're someone who has that mentality, or you're someone who says